With many Australians priced out of the housing market, renting becomes the only option. But what are your rights if something goes wrong?
They just want the basic rights that anyone is entitled to.
We cringe every time we open the letter. It's sort of like, God, I hope it's not another bloody eviction notice.
It's no secret the relationship between landlords and tenants can be a very rocky one. And unfortunately, it's often the tenant that can end up second best. Tonight, our viewers share their real-life rental horror stories as we ask what needs to be done to give tenants a fair go in a system critics say needs a complete overhaul. We've seen and heard the stories. Fierce competition, rental properties unlivable, mould growing in every corner. And yet those Australians caught in the rental cycle are forced to compromise, like Keith Young.
The roof leaked, they never fixed it properly. The rear deck was made out of wood and it was rotting, and we asked them several times to fix it.
But his leaky old garage is the least of Keith's issues. This gaping hole was caused by rats running wild in his roof.
There were rats in the ceiling and we could hear the gnawing. You can basically see the rot.
It's not only inside that's an issue. Step outside this dangerous deck, a death trap for any young family.
We can't let our 5-year-old go out in the garden.
Keith approached his landlord and real estate several times to fix what he thought was his basic rights. The only thing he received was an eviction notice.
If you're evicting a tenant, it's pretty rude. It's a huge impost.
You can understand this family's despair as they begin the search again for a suitable and safe place to live.
We've always paid our rent on time, we've never missed a payment, and we've always got our bond back.
You sound like a landlord's dream.
Well, we are, but we keep on getting evicted anyway.
51% of Australians renting are just too frightened to ask for basic repairs out of fear they'll be booted out by their landlord. These alarming statistics from consumer group Choice show there are a lot of rental properties around the country in dire need of repair. Victoria has one of our largest populations of Australians currently renting. In suburban Melbourne, Anthony Ambrosi and his grandparents say they've been battling with their landlord for 10 years.
We're just after the bare minimum. We always pay our rent early whenever it is due. It's always a number of days early.
And this is how the landlord repays them.
No more, look. No more pressure. Just stop, look.
The elderly couple has burnt their hands countless times as their kitchen tap has only one temp, and that's scalding hot.
The real estate agent advised us that my grandmother, who's 86 years old, instead of washing the plates in the kitchen, he advised us to wash in the laundry.
Anthony, their full-time carer, finds it challenging in these conditions.
Shower as well, so I have to wash them with a bucket in the bath. That's where we're at, and this is a $150 fix.
I try to treat my tenants as I would like to be treated myself.
Landlord Dragan Todorovic says he understands the rights of tenants and wants to see changes to protect them from living in conditions like this.
As a landlord, I think that living in an affluent society such as Australia, to have people in insecure housing is a bit of a travesty.
They feel their human rights are being impinged on here.
Well, consumer group Choice are in Canberra calling for a national review of rental laws, and we are joined now by their Director of Campaigns and Communications, Erin Turner. Erin, good to talk with you. The tenants we've just heard from have landlords who frankly need a rocket. How representative are they of the general rental market?
Our research has found that 51% of people who rent are in homes that need repair, and these repairs can be serious. We're talking about mould that leaves your family with health issues, ovens that just don't work.
Is the system broken? Is that what you're saying?
We do see an imbalance here, and when it comes to making a complaint or just getting something fixed, people who rent struggle far too much. It's easier to get a fix on a $2 toothbrush than it is a rental property that you're spending $30,000 or more a year on.
I've read your report. My sense is that you seem to think that it's no grounds evictions that is the key point issue. Am I right about that? Is that what you think?
That's it. So no grounds or no reasons evictions hang over the heads of Australian renters.
Tenants definitely need protection and you know, bad landlords ought to be spanked. But we do plenty of stories on nightmare landlords, and we do just as many stories on our show, as I'm sure you're aware of nightmare tenants who don't pay the rent and they trash the place. Do landlords need protection under the system as well?
So we've found, looking at the tenancy laws, that there are protections out there, and we still want fair reasons. So for evictions. So if someone's not paying the rent, then there does need to be negotiation and action there. But we shouldn't have someone be kicked out of their home because they're just asking for fair treatment. Basic requirements, if you're paying $30,000 or more, you just deserve a fair standard.
State governments open to addressing your concerns?
We need action from state governments, but we also need leadership from the federal government. We've seen some action in the last few months from Victoria to lift standards, but this is patchy. Standards aren't high in WA or New South Wales or in Queensland. We're hoping that the federal government will start to play a role in making sure that all states lift standards.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Erin.